Hey everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore coming at ya.
Well, I'll just jump right into it. This morning I just kind of woke up with just kind of a word on my heart. Not necessarily a single word, but just like an idea that God was giving to me. And what I actually woke up with was Joshua 24 verse 15, where it's talking about choose this day who you're going to serve. And, and then it goes on to say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And I really just was like, yes, that's exactly what God was just been speaking, or what I've been feeling, as far as just like, okay, you have to choose whose side are you on, and I felt like for me personally, it's like, are you with the Lord? Are you coming into agreement with what God is saying, versus are you coming into agreement with what the enemy wants to say and speak over your life? And so it's really, it's that battlefield of, are you going to listen to the enemy and your flesh and what emotions arise in you, or are you going to listen to the truth? Are you going to come into agreement with the truth, even if your emotions are feeling differently?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was actually reading, I read through a little bit more of the Joshua chapter 24, and I started around verse 11, and it was Joshua talking to the people. This is kind of before he passes away. He died when he was 110, and so this is like kind of right before that, in that time frame. And he's reminding the people, like, this is what God has done. He's brought us out of Egypt. He brought us into... He's
kind of having his own Deuteronomy moment with them.
Yes, exactly. And so...
And then we went into the time of Judges. So apparently they listened.
No. But he's like, hey guys, remember what God has done. He brought us into the land. He gave us this place that we did not work for, that we did not fight for. And he brought us through Jericho, and he gave all these people into our hands. And so you're living in cities you didn't build, and homes you didn't build. You're eating from the fruit of the land that you didn't sow for. And so he goes through all of that, and then he's like, but you decide, is it evil to follow the Lord and serve him, or are you going to go after the gods and the things from the other side? And he actually says, like, are you going to go back to the gods on the other side of the river Euphrates, the river Euphrates? Are you going to, or are you going to also even choose what's in your land? And or are you going to choose to serve the Lord? And it's like, if you choose to serve the Lord, he's going to continue basically to bless you. But if you decide to not serve the Lord and go your own way, well, it's not going to be good for you. God's going to turn against you. His hand will be against you. And again, I just felt like it was just kind of this reminder once again of when we receive the promises of the Lord, and these are things that it's like we couldn't do, it's just like, God's just like, I'm giving this to you. I'm placing you in a land of promise. And so when you're in that land of promise, are you still going to choose me? Are you still going to serve me? Is your heart still going to be for me? And are you going to continue on in that direction? And so for me, even, it was just a really great picture of just like, keep choosing me. Don't go back to Egypt or the other side of the river, that heart place. And I really,
that's good, that heart place.
Yeah. And I really feel like that's what God was touching on. And I feel like I got, just yesterday alone, there was 2 specific times where it was, this moment, trigger moment, a heart place, where it was like, okay, am I going to go down the old path, that familiar path, or am I going to choose to go in the truth, the way of God's way, and his saying, hey, forget that old path? And one in particular in the morning, I was just triggered with this sense of, which honestly actually kind of goes into something else that I'm going to share, here in a little bit. But Devin felt like he had gotten a word yesterday morning and about just continuing to sow, continuing to press into the Lord.
That's true.
And
yeah, your reaction was weird.
It was. It was weird.
It doesn't make any sense.
It didn't.
This is amazing. Like, what did you hear? Tell me again what you heard. Because what?
What I'm saying should
Why are you sad?
What's
what
going
is
on
wrong with you? Like, you just won the lottery. Oh. Like, what?
So yesterday, Devin was saying, he was just like, hey, I really feel like God's saying, like, we need to press in. We need to sow because, what we're sowing, we're going to just reap this great harvest. And he wants us, basically like a keep going, keep pursuing, keep going. And I ended up taking it.
Well, can I just share what he said?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he said it was just awesome because nobody was feeling like getting into the presence of the Lord. And it was just like, there was just this sense of like, ugh. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, all right, I know what to do in these kind of situations. Lord, here I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, come on, let's, I just know you have to get up from that a lot of times. And then right away, the Lord was like, as I have sowed into you, sow into me. Mm-hmm. And there was just a sense of like, you're at the end. Come on, let's keep going. Sow as much as you can because you're at the end, because you're at the last little bit. Sow as much as you possibly can sow, sow generously so you can reap generously. Mm-hmm. And it was like, because you're not going to have a time like this ever again.
Yes.
It's not going to be like this ever again. But it was almost like a singleness. It's like you're not going to be single again. So get to know each other as much as you possibly can as single people, because when you get married, it's a completely different life. Mm-hmm. So that was the sense. And it was just like, God was pleased. He was appreciative. He was congratulating us. He was like, yes, now keep doing that. Just as much as you possibly can. Just throw more in there. Throw more prayers and praise and just go after it in this season, in this arc, because the door's about to open, y'all. And I'm just give as much as you possibly can. Yeah. That's kind of what it was, Yeah.
And so honestly, I heard that and I was just taking it as like, man, you haven't been doing enough. You need to sow into me as I've sown into you. And it was just this like, oh, I haven't been sowing into the Lord and this is not good.
That's it. We're reading all of the Bible in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, really, like that's the kind of thing that could hit me. It became this like performance, but there was just so much emotion attached with it. And it was like really strong, just intense of just like, oh my gosh, well, okay, Lord, I hear what you're saying. I feel terrible. Especially with like, you're not going to have a time like this again. It was just like, oh, great. I'm not going to have a time like this again, and I'm going to miss out. I'm going to mess things up. What is going on?
Our relationship with the Lord is just going to go downhill from here, I guess. It's going to be less intimate.
and it was just like... What
did you hear?
It was just like, all of this stuff is hitting me. And honestly, like, I was trying to fight some of just like when I was praying, I was like, I'm not going to go down that road. I want to pray and ask for the Lord for the promise and all of that. And then we talked about it slightly. It was not really going anywhere. And then I was in the shower and it was just like, all right, Lord, like what is going on? But something that Devin did say when we were talking was he was like, it's like all of that stuff, that fear, that pressure, everything, it's like, it wants you to sit at the conference table and just talk about it. It wants you to stay there all day and talk about it. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. It knows, all right, well, if I can get Michelle to sit at the conference table, we'll be here all day.
We can just talk and argue and engage and just try to figure everything out logically and answer all the questions. And I'll just keep throwing questions out there to be answered. And there's, well, what about that? That doesn't seem like a logical solution. And let's just stay here and communicate. Yeah. It's like, no.
No. So then I was just talking to the Lord about it. And it was just, I don't know, it just kind of... I realized, you know what, it's like, Lord, I just needed to recognize it and then just go a different direction. Because there was this part of me is just like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna move on with my day, and it was just like, no, it's just gonna follow you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just like, you know what? No, I'm saying no to the performance. I'm saying no to just all of the mess, because it wasn't even what the Lord was saying. And it's like, okay, Lord, I'm just going to go to you, and I'm just going to continue to do what we've been doing. And it was just like, yes, that's it. You know, keep sowing. It really is. It's an encouragement. Like, yes, keep going. You know, it's that same, like we talked about in the last video, being on the race and the course. You know, when you're encouraging someone, you're like, keep going. Come on. Keep running. Keep moving forward. They're not saying change up your entire strategy and now, you know, go sprint or go get a bicycle and finish that. It's like, no, that's not what he's talking about. It's like, just keep going forward, keep pursuing my heart, keep sowing, because that's what you've been doing all year. It's not like you haven't been sowing.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, it's been some pretty hefty sowing.
Yeah. And so
I don't know that we can give more than we've given.
So it was just like, again, like God saying, like, okay, which side are you going to listen to, that old side, or are you going to listen to the new, and are you going to go in my direction? And so it was just like, all right, that's the direction I'm going. And it was like, all right, we're done with that. It was over. And again, then I got to practice it again later on that night, and it was just like, all right.
About being triggered?
Yeah, about being triggered and just having things pop up.
Well, I think it's the Lord.
Yeah, I think it's
totally the Lord going, hey,
how about this
here's
one?
A button. Remember this console button? Oh, what about that one?
Okay, what are you
going to react there?
Yeah, it's like how are you going to handle it now? What's going to be different about how you handle it? And it was just like, okay, so another button got pressed last night, and it was just like, all right,
and then sometimes it's like,
I'm going into prayer.
Combination.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, 5 buttons. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And all of it is pertaining to, are you going to go back to how you used to think and do what you used to do? It's not, oh, we're going to do what I always do, because God's like, no, that's not what you always do anymore.
That's right.
I've trained you. That's not you. You
can't even say that, because like you said that this morning.
I said that this morning. It's like,
you're like,
wait.
well, it's what I always do. No.
That's
what
not
you used to do.
It's not what I do now.
It's like, well, it's because we have a sinful nature. No, we had a sinful nature. There's a sinful nature in there that's trying to still regain control, like an evicted, tenant. But it's like, no, you're not in charge anymore.
Yeah.
It's the Spirit that's in charge. This is what I used to do. We literally just had a conversation an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now listen, from this point on, this is how this conversation usually ends up. Let's not do that this time. Let's go a completely different direction. And it did.
Yeah.
Just like, yay.
And it's like, that's what God's talking about. He's saying, give me your whole heart. Choose me every time, which is what? Choosing the truth, choosing the path of humility, choosing to lay down yourself, and choosing to say, you know what? I'm not going to go back in that direction, because there is a pull, especially if it's a cycle that you had been in for a long, long time.
And you're familiar with it.
And you're familiar, and so it's like, it's almost like you get put on the track, and it's like, okay, well, that's where I go. I go down this track.
This is what I do. This is how I emotionally respond. These are the things I think. These are the things I deal with. This is what I battle against. This is how I do that.
Yeah. And I think that's what's, again, like last night when there was this trigger moment, and it was bringing out like insecurity and things like that. And at first I was like, all right, I was praying like, Lord, well, let's just get down to the root so this isn't here. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to figure this out. And I think that is a huge thing.
I'm just going to leave the table.
You don't need to figure it out. Yeah. You don't even need to talk about it. If God wants to address something, he will address it.
Yeah.
But in that situation, it was just like, just leave it alone. Like, acknowledge that it's there, say no to it, and go forward. And it's like, that's where you find freedom. and so it was just this, I don't know, it's just been kind of that kind of thing that God's been speaking. Is just like, this morning again, choose me, choose to keep going in this direction, keep saying, continue. It's an exercise every single day.
As long as it is called today.
It's like you're going to have to say no to those emotions or things that try and take you off the path, and to keep pursuing the Lord.
Yeah.
And so that kind of actually rolled into what we ended up spending a ton of time talking about this morning with the kids. And it was really just about, continuing on, keeping your trajectory to the Lord, keeping focused on Him. And so keeping the trajectory on God means just allow Him to keep correcting, keep moving you back to where you need to be. And also that goes into, again, the James chapter 1 verse 2, where it's like, consider it all joy when you face all these trials, because it's going to produce great character and endurance. And then we talked with the kids we went to Hebrews chapter 12, and we read a lot of it, but just one of the parts that really stuck out to me is Hebrews 12 and verse 5.
Yeah, I think we read through verse 11.
Yeah.
11 verses. So read that one?
Yeah.
It says, "My son, do not think lightly or scorn to submit to the correction and discipline of the Lord, nor lose courage and give up and faint when you are reproved or corrected by Him."
Yeah. And we read it in the Passion Translation this morning, and I
actually like that one better.
Yeah, it was really good, because it was just like, don't become depressed when you're corrected.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and bummed out.
And
just
yeah,
like, I'm corrected by the Lord.
Because why? Well, because it says that God's like, He disciplines those He loves, and so we really, I think there are times when God does take us through the wilderness where He's constantly, throughout our whole lives, He will be constantly correcting and bringing us into the likeness of Christ.
And adjustments here and
but
there.
I believe there are seasons of time when God, He's heavily like bringing His discipline, and it's like a
good thing. See, because that's the thing. Our daughter right now, the reason it came up is because our daughter, she really does not like being corrected.
Mm-hmm.
It is like garlic to a vampire. You know what I'm saying? She just doesn't like it, but she will listen to you, but she just doesn't like it. And I was trying to get her to see, like, it is actually a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in any kind of sport, you're actually looking for a coach who can correct all the things you're doing wrong, and so you can get better. If you're in a baking championship, hello, you can, because we're watching that show right now. They're going there in hopes of being corrected.
Yeah.
So that they can get better at what they're doing. We were just trying to get her to see that. And then it turned into this is really what kind of God's saying right now. It's more than just our daughter. It's our whole family. He's like, that's what I'm doing. It's almost like it was like the same heart He had yesterday as what He was sharing with us today. Mm-hmm. And you woke up that way, so.
Yeah, I did. It was just this sense of God just let me finish what the work that I'm doing right now. And that work, though, just see it as love. See it as my heart that's saying, oh my goodness, I love you. You are my sons and daughters. Mm-hmm. And I am bringing correction. I am bringing discipline. And it's good, because why? It says in Hebrews, I forget which verse it is, but it will bring about a harvest that's full of righteousness and peace.
Yeah, I think that's verse 11.
Yeah. and it's like, wow. Yes, that's what we want. We want that harvest of righteousness and peace in our lives, but it has to come through discipline, through correction. Mm-hmm. And
it's like the workout routine that we talked about. Can I interrupt?
Yes, of course.
Okay. See, she don't mind, so anyway. So it's the workout thing. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to submit yourself to the trainer and the coach or the workout program that you're following from Jeff Cavalier, or somebody else you're following, and you have to submit yourself to that, and so you're volunteering yourself to submit to pain and physical adversity. Why are you doing that? Well, just because. No, you're not doing that just because. It's because you see a joy. There's a joy that's set before you, a particular kind of fit body. You're more healthy, you're more in shape, you're stronger, you know what I mean? And so you're looking at the end result. And so that's why it's like and when you have a trainer, what's really great about having a personal trainer there with you is they can correct your form. If you got your back arched as you're doing your bicep curls, it's like, whoa, don't do that. Because it actually helps me to get that bicep curl up there, though. It's like, but later on you're gonna have major lower back problems. Later on. See, the things that you're sowing right now, whatever it is you're sowing, is a later on manifestation and later on harvest. So it's like, you gotta have the correct form now. And the correct way of doing it. It's not just doing it that's the issue. It's the way you're doing it. And having the proper form that's going to produce like a wholeness of health, a wholeness of. That's why there's some MMA fighters. They're like, I don't cut weight. I'm not going to be cutting weight because it's unhealthy. It really is. It's terribly unhealthy. And so if your goal is health, there's a certain way to do it. So it's like God's got goals in mind. And he has a certain way that he does it. And then when we get out of line of the way he's doing the way, well, that's not proper form. That's not how you respond to that. No, that's not how you react to that. He's like, well, hold on here and hold on. He's just correcting you so that you can get better. Well, can we talk about that last 2 weeks thing? Did you want to talk about that? You can. You
so
can.
We were, in light of the fitness thing, we were just talking about how, a lot of times, a lot of programs, they're about 12 weeks long. And, you'll see really amazing results if you do these 12-week programs. Well, a lot of times, by week 10, you're seeing some pretty good results. And you're just like, all right, maybe I don't need those last 2 weeks.
They're amazing results. Hello.
They're amazing
if you've
results.
Submitted yourself to the discipline and been consistent.
And it's like, okay, wow, you've got amazing results. It's like, man, why do I need these last 2 weeks? Well, you go through those last 2 weeks.
Why are there 2 more weeks if I look this amazing? Don't look at me right now. By faith. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's like, you can take that and it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to complete this program. I'm going to go through it. And at the end of those 2 weeks, you will see, wow, those 2 weeks were needed because, now it's just, there's more definition. There's more. And
it's subtle.
There's
subtle, minor changes, but they're like significant. It's just like, wow, to the trained eye, they're like, oh, wow, you did the whole program, didn't you? It's like, yeah, I did. It's like, well, this person only did it for 10 weeks, and it's just like, they look amazing, but it's like you put those, what you call the finishing touches on it, and it completes everything, It's like where you might see your abs, where at the end of that 2 weeks, it's like the skin just really sucks in. That's it. That's what that last 2 weeks did. It caused that skin to just really suck in around the ab whenever you move. When before you could just kind of see it, but there was still some skin over, just little details. They're very little details. And if you're an artist, you can relate. Because you just put those last little details on something. You can look at something and go, wow, this is amazing. And they might be like, oh, well, this is only phase 4. I still have a phase 5, and then that's done. Like, and then you look at the difference between phase 4 and phase 5, and it does look different. But if you didn't know that phase 5 existed, you would think that the phase 4 was the completion.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, that's really kind of where God has us. He's like, hey, keep going. These final 2 weeks that I'm having you do this dipping for the 7th time and all of that. 7 cycles
of 7 weeks. We only have 2 more weeks left of that 7th cycle.
And it's like, all right, I think what we're going to see in these next 2 weeks in our hearts is going to just be phenomenal. Like, we'll just be like, wow, yes, we needed those 2 weeks. We needed to go through all that we've been through, but you have to continue to submit yourself to the program that God has you going through what everything that God has you.
Yeah, and don't
doing.
act like it's over when it's really not.
Yeah.
Don't get that excited, celebratory, woohoo, it's over. It's like, no. The tape's up there, bro.
Yeah.
Don't be like, yay, I'm dancing because my race is over. Well, yeah, you can see that it's almost over.
Yeah.
You can see that it's almost over. You still got to break the tape, boss.
Yeah.
Keep going. And
Yeah. Exactly.
Keep running. You know?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at me for?
It's funny.
Oh.
You're just like, keep going.
You think I'm hilarious?
I do. You're pretty funny.
That's why you married me.
Yep.
Humor is high on her list.
Well, I think that's really all we have for you guys today. It's really, I feel like just the word of the Lord is to just keep going, keep pressing on, choose Him, and go in that direction. Don't be teeter-tottering between, I'm going to listen to the old and try and listen to God at the same time. Just choose the Lord and keep walking in that path. And and just know it's like, I really believe, at least God is speaking to us, but I feel like even to other people, it's like you are so close to the end. Just keep going.
I highly recommend the 7 video we just did. Oh my gosh. We did. Can I just share this real quick? Because we always say we're over, and then we put a little addendum, so we can't break that pattern.
Yeah.
So we did a 7s video, and at the time we were really getting inundated with the number 7, but then the 777s. It was like, oh my gosh, we're getting 777s like crazy. And then we were watching this random video about this guy who's kind of a magician, but he calls himself a mentalist, whatever. And there was a 777 that he wrote on this board, and I put it on my Facebook page, and I was just like, oh my gosh, the 777s are coming at us like crazy. 7 is what God is speaking. He's speaking the end, finality. Well, what comes after 7? 8. That means a new beginning. And that's important, because you got to know, even in music, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, the 8th note, that's the same as the first, it's just an octave higher.
Yeah.
So it's like, and 8 means a new beginning. So it's like, God, it's like 777's like all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? And so we did that video. But then it's like we held off on editing it because we had to do the last video that we just did. Which one was that? I forget. But we did that video, and we're like, okay, now I'm going to put out that 7s video. And I mean, I'm just saying, I can't even describe to you how much we've been seeing the 777s in this. I just went to Target last night, and I got a gift card from a purchase I made. I scratched off the thing, the access code, and right in the middle of the access code was 777. Was it not?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh! It's like, and now with the numbers thing that God does with us, it just pops out at you like, hey. It's like you scratch it off, and there you see God's face going, hey there. And it's like He wants you to know, like, hey, this is happening. You are at the end. There's going to be a manifestation of an end to this. A manifestation means it's going to be tangible. You're not going to be like, oh, we got to this transition, oh, this is great, and you're still in the same situation.
Yeah.
There's going to be a transition that's just like, wow, this is amazing, right? And so we're like, so let's do that video today. Let's put that video out today, because we'll do this, we'll film this one, and it'll probably be out tomorrow or late in the wee smalls when I edit it or whatever. That number 7 video for our prophetic numbers turned out to be our 700th video that we published. You can't make this stuff up. We didn't plan that. I wasn't like, we're almost at 700 videos. Let's make sure we put. No.
Yeah.
It just happened to be, and in fact, it should have been the 699th video.
Yeah.
But it just so happens to be the 700th video.
Yeah.
About 7s, and I was like, wow. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, we do. We have 700 videos. Is that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
But I'm just saying, like, God is just speaking that. That's why He's saying, keep going, keep sowing, keep going my way. Choose this day, because what you choose now is going to be what you choose later. Yeah. If you keep giving in to all these old school, like, mentalities, you're going to do that later as well. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool, though. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah, so I think that's all that we have for you guys. Again, if you would like to support us, you can
That
click
would be
the
super awesome.
PayPal link below, and we so appreciate everyone who
Yes.
has given to us and continues to give.
We take the offerings very seriously.
We really do. I mean, it's just such a blessing. We know that that's
we teach
exactly
the kids about it all the time.
That's exactly how God has been providing for us in this season of our life, and so it's amazing. So
yeah.
So until next time, guys, we will see you later.
Yeah. Be encouraged, guys. We will see you next time.
Bye.